writers, readers, and fans of reading and writing. Welcome to Author Showcase, a feature program of the Write-Tukubuli Virtual Literary Festival. My name is Nicole Georges Bennett, and my co-host today is Sam George. Sam, you want to give the folks a wave?
Sure. Good greetings, everyone, wherever you are watching from. Thank you for joining us, and welcome to Author Showcase.
So today we're going to be talking about song or lyric writing, which isn't typically the first thing that you think of when you're talking about writing or thinking about writing in general. But today what we're going to do is we want to dive a little deeper into what it means to be a writer, especially in the entertainment and music industry. So our guests today, I'm going to just quickly read their bios and introduce them to you. Heston Francis, internationally celebrated songwriter and recording artist from Dominica, who draws inspiration from legends like Michael Jackson and Al Green. With a deep-rooted passion for creativity, Heston is a well-established performing artist and songwriter. He's released 5 R&B soul albums and achieved recognition on the Billboard SoundScan R&B Top 100 Artist list. In the pandemic in 2020, Heston delved into the visual arts, quickly mastering the craft and gaining acclaim for his paintings. Constantly evolving as both a visual and musical artist, Heston's journey of celebrating and uplifting Black culture is an ongoing testament to his boundless talent and potential. And you guys are going to want to stay tuned for his upcoming album. Heston, I'm sorry if I don't pronounce this properly, Mimesis.
Mimesis.
And his expanding art collection as he continues to make his mark on the world. Welcome, Heston.
Hey, how are you doing? Thank you for having me.
We're doing awesome.
I'm happy to be here. I'm honored to be here.
Thank you so much. And our next guest is Charmany Blanc, better known as Novelys. He is a music producer and artist. His passion for music and culture has led him to promote Dominica's culture in Toronto, formerly as a dancer, choreographer, and now as a musical artist and DJ. He is the owner and founder of entertainment group Island Therapy, as well as co-host and creator of Dissect, which is broadcast on tvntv.net. He's also a proud father and supporter of his community and people. Welcome to Author Showcase, Novelys.
Thank you for having me.
Sam, I'm going to let you introduce our soul lady guest.
All right. Well, Lady S, also known as Shirley Charles, is a multifaceted artist and educator currently teaching Spanish music and English literature at the Goodwill Secondary School. Her passion for music began in her childhood in Mont Prosper, where she sang hymns and wrote her first song at the age of 12. Over the years, she has performed at various local events, weddings, and government functions, gaining support from her community. Her musical journey continued through her high school and college, where she explored genres like R&B, Kadas, and Zouk, and participated in numerous competitions and shows. Throughout her career, Lady S has collaborated with various artists and bands, performed at significant events, and recorded music, competed in Dominica's Calypso competition, and has served as an executive of the DCA. She has taken on projects in multiple languages, including French and Spanish. Her dedication to music and education has made her a prominent figure in her community, inspiring young artists to follow their dreams. Welcome to Author Showcase, Lady S.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
All right, so the clock is already ticking, so we want to dive into this hot topic. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask all of you, each of you, the same question, and then I'll give each of you a chance to respond. So, Heston, let's start with you. When you sit down to compose a new song and you begin to pen lyric to verses, to music, what comes to you first? Is it the lyrics? Is it the melody? Is it a concept? Describe your process to us.
So to be honest with you, I can't say that I have a one process. I found sometimes in the middle of the night I'm inspired to write something, and I wake up and I put pen to paper, and I literally have no musical arrangement. There are other times where I grab the guitar and I find something that gives me a nostalgic feeling, which is what I always go for when I write music, write a song, and um, I will put chords together. I will at least secure what I sometimes and most of the time assume is a verse. It ends up sometimes being the chorus. Sometimes it ends up being a bridge. But from that point, I can start to create, and then the process of thinking what's the message that I'm trying to write. And a lot of times the message is actually something that I hope for, not necessarily my current experience, but something that I wish for, I envision, or a place or something that I want to feel. And sometimes I get in my inside of my head and I create my reality. So sometimes it's just straight pen to paper, but usually there's a combination of both. I use my guitar to accompany me to find melody, but yeah, the process is not just one way. It happens in multiple ways.
Have you always written your own songs? I would assume that when you were starting off as an artist, that you probably sang songs that were written for you. But when did that transition take place for you, where you actually began to write your own music?
Funny thing is, I've always written my own songs ever since I was in Dominica when I was 12, 11. I started writing songs, and probably nothing that I want to hear today, nothing that I probably record and put out. But yeah, I've always written my own songs. Um, it's always come to me. It's the weirdest thing. It's funny now that I've delved into visual art. Music doesn't come as simply, so I have to really have dedicated time where I've never been I know some songwriters or musicians that have like a ton of songs. I've never been that way. I can literally say I'm going to write 12 songs for this album, and I'll put all of my energy into it, write those 12 and be done with it, and then have no inspiration until I'm ready to do it again. Um, but it's never like, oh my gosh, I have this list of songs and what do I choose from? It's never been that way. But I've always written. What I like to do lately, and I just had this conversation last night, is collaborate.
Huh?
Um, Collaboration gives me more inspiration and gives me more creativity, because I think even as a songwriter, you kind of get accustomed to your process. And when you write with other musicians, it takes you out of your comfort zone, and you find creative ways to bring out some newness in your music. So I entertain and I'm open to that more than I used to be or even thought I was comfortable with.
So I'm going to throw that question over to Lady S. So do you find that it's similar for you? What is your process, or do you also get inspiration in the middle of the night and have to get up and start writing right away? How does it work for you?
Well, it's partially what Heston, experiences. But really and truly, for me, it's a concept. Sometimes I take a concept. Sometimes the words come and not the melody. Like probably a hook line or something like that. And most times the melody comes to me first. I just sing, and when I sing, I say, that sounds good. Which words would fit well with that? And then that's how I put it together. Um, Most times for me, songwriting comes out of the need to let the voice be heard. And when I say the voice, not particularly my voice all the time, but the voice of the people. You see, as you interact with the people on the ground, you hear them say something. You you sense their yearning of what it is that they want said on their behalf, you know, and as an artist. You can put that into a song, those words into a song in a poetic manner, prose poem, whichever works, and then you put a melody to it, the voice to carry it through. And Heston said something here that I want to echo, but with a little twist. He said that he finds it more creative to work with other writers, and he's right. I find it more intriguing to work with other people who write. That's why I don't write everything that I sing. Um, and to also work with different producers. In that way, you as an artist, you don't sound the same. And I will say that there are some artists I know who sing multiple genres of music, they write their songs, and they have a beautiful voice, but they're not always captivating because sometimes the content of their songs are the same in all genres of music. They do reggae, same content. Calypso, same content. And it gets monotonous. And really and truly, it's best to really work with others. It brings out a lot more um, that can help you to bridge generational gaps and to extend yourself and become more global, more marketable.
Thank you. You've really raised some very interesting points. But Novelist, I want to come to you. Now, you do a lot of songwriting in various genres, right? Unlike Heston's, it's very much soul, it's very much R&B. You range from rap all the way to reggae. Do you find that you have different approaches to the different genres?
Oh yeah, every song has a different approach. For instance, reggae, it's more probably soul, laid back. Hip hop could be more aggressive. Soca is definitely more aggressive, more happy, same as Boy, right? So it's a different approach to all these different genres. I gotta agree with Heston. As far as inspiration goes, it comes from anything and anywhere at any time. Like it's for me, I could be on the street and hear something passing. I was like, oh, that kind of reminds me of something or triggers something. I go and write a booyah song, or I could choose to write a hip hop song, right? But it's always a different approach.
Sam, did you want to jump in here?
Yes, certainly. Thank you, Nicole. I do have this question that I want to ask all three of you. And um, all three of you are from Dominica, yes. But so with that in mind, especially Heston and Novi, because you are outside of Dominica, I think that question is much more important. In what ways has growing up in Dominica influenced your songwriting, the rhythm, the language, or the rhythms, the language, or even the stories you choose to tell in your music? Start with Novi here.
Well, I grew up in a house where I heard the reggae, I heard the country music, the gospel, the calypso, the soca. So I heard different genres of music, pop, all these different things, right? So whenever I live in Dominica and becoming into hip hop, the influence is always there because you remember your mom taking you to the Windsor Park, or you remember going to watch some cinema or something. So you kind of put that in the music, just simple by remembering things, right? So as far as creating, with listening to all these different genres of music in the island, not just in your house, but in the island, it does inspire you to kind of let's say booyerize everything. So whether you're doing reggae, you'll find maybe a little element of calypso in your music or a little Kadas vibes in your music. So you are inspired by the land. That's a fact. So whatever you're writing, you will have that inspiration of where you were, wherever you came from, right? So
Okay, thank you, Novi. Same question, Heston. Do you find your upbringing in Dominica has any kind of influence on your movie, on your music, given especially the genre that you tend to write in?
I think it's a great question, and I think that's why I love these platforms because it challenges you to because you don't know what the questions are. Sometimes you have these interviews and you already have the questions. You see what's coming. This I don't, and I'm happy for that. Um, when I was a kid in Dominica, like Novi said, all the Al Green, the Lionel Richie, the Otis Redding, Boy George. I mean, you name it. All of those things influenced me. Today, Cornell Phillip is him and I are producing my current album. There's a lot of every R&B song, every soul song that written, every reggae song that I've written has an undertone of Caribbean rhythm. Even all the soul stuff that I've written, if you really pay attention, there's an undersoul of Caribbean rhythm in all of my music. So
Mm,
even if I wanted to, I cannot avoid it. It's just
mm,
what it is.
mm. Right.
I love that.
Okay.
It means it's in
And
your DNA.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
Yeah, and it's in the DNA
yeah,
of the music. It's so
yep,
cool.
yep.
yeah, I think I had a conversation with someone. I was saying that you can take me, the boy, out of Dominica, but you can't take Dominica out of me. And that's what I hear
Exactly.
from you as well.
Exactly. It is.
It's a fact.
And Lady S, let me come to you. And I think that is that might not even be a fair question for you, since you spend so much of your time in Dominica, in and among the people. I don't know if that's a fair question, but how does the how does particular aspects of Dominican life, from the festivals to the landscape or folklore, um, how does that directly find its way into your writing?
Definitely, it will be the first thing that will find its way because it's like learning another language, and if you don't practice it, you forget, right? So you go to a French
Mhm.
country and you are forced to speak the language because that's what is asked you. So I'm in Dominica and my culture is what is around me, so that's what I'm into. So of course my writing would be affected firstly by that, but then to be globally marketable, all the Al Greens and the Whitney Houston and the Mary J. Blige and all these people who I grew up listening to. Like I grew up listening to R&B as well, and rap and soul. So with that influence, I also try to make some of my songs international. So for me, it's like the other way around. So Heston and Novelys, they live out of Dominica, but they're from Dominica, and of course, their culture goes into their writing. For me, it's the first thing that goes. I have more of it because I'm more exposed to it, but I keep in mind that the songs that I am going to sing or I want to put out there has to have international appeal. So there is one thing that is common among all of us in the world is the human experience. And because of that, you write to that, the human experience. Doesn't matter where you are in the world, you're human. There's some things that we face in common.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, that's very true. And I must say that one of my favorite songs from you is Kari Culture. That's the song about the Kalinago. I can't stop listening to that song because I find it, and that's a
I
very
think
good
I
example of
think there are two. I think there are two
international
of them
appeal.
that you cross this. There's two of them you cross. So there's
Yes, yes.
Kalinago Nation. There's Kalinago Nation, and of course it's a double meaning in that Dominica is a Kalinago Nation. Most of us are mixed. Look at my hair on my head, and I'm black. So most of us
Mm,
are mixed, right? And also Kari Kadas, Shai Kadasla. We carry the
right.
culture. So these are two. One is a Calypso, one is a Kadas. It's lovely to them both, I know.
Leave, I've been selling out my secret.
Of course.
But yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for that. Let's jump back to Nicole.
So, as we're talking about the influence of Dominican culture on your work and on your, your approach to your work, I'm wondering if there are any particular aspects of Dominican life. So, maybe in terms of the festivals or just the beauty, the natural beauty of the island, or maybe the folklore, something about, I mean, I don't know if you ever write music about jumbies and lugahus and sukuya, but uh, do you ever find that some of those elements, do you sing about it? Do you write about it in your music? Um, Navi, let's start with you. I mean, do you sing about carnival, for example? Do you write about it?
Most definitely. I mean, writing Booyah or Soca, you definitely sing about Carnival back home, right? Your experience. Um, I've used Dominica in a sense where for hip hop, where I use hopping in the back of vans or sending a Guinness bottle, or whistling in a Guinness bottle, uh, those type of things with like sending a little, how we used to play that game back home, well, for the guys anyway. We'd send little pebbles after each other and turn into big stones. So use those things in the hip hop, right? Because hip hop has that you could tell stories and you can make your stories whether you want it to be violent or you make it, whatever. So you use those things, right? Um, and of course, yeah, for instance, like I said, booyah and everything. Reggae, of course, you use those things. You use like the breeze, the waterfalls, and all that stuff. Like the beauty of the island. So yeah, it it's in you. It's in you. So you just can't get it out. So it's always for me as a writer, it's best to tell your own story and make it true, right? So if you talk about the things that you experienced, it makes the song more relatable to the audience, right? So when you put those things in there, it touches people because think about it. Dominica, we do certain things in Dominica. They do those same thing in Trinidad. They do those same things in Guadeloupe or wherever. But the same people that's in Trinidad and Guadeloupe, they tour the world. They are in America. They are in England, wherever, right? So when they listen to those music, they can relate to whatever you're speaking from, your island, your experience of it from your island.
Heston, I'm going to sort of switch tacks on you since you're enjoying the spontaneity of these questions. Now, you said I know that you've branched into visual arts,
Okay.
and it is obvious from the subject matter of your paintings that you are drawing on your childhood memories of growing up in Dominica. So I think there's one of you've done, and I don't know if it's your actual aunt, but I believe it's a woman washing clothes in front of her little shack. And I'm just wondering, do you also draw on any, let's say, Dominican festivals in your work, or how does culture impact your visual arts journey?
Well, so if you don't mind, let me quickly touch upon the music part
Sure.
because, and I'll just tell you two quick stories. I was doing a couple of dates in Jamaica, and I was taking a bus from Kingston to Ocho Rios. It's called the Knutsford Express, and I remember listening to Kenny Rogers. I remember listening to Dolly Parton. I remember listening to Beres Hammond. I remember listening to Diana Ross, all those songs that we all grew up in the 70s listening to, which took me right back home. So for me, it's a feeling. No, I don't sing about a festival or any experiences necessarily on the ground in Dominica, but the feeling that I always have is that nostalgia from my childhood, and it affects my music as well as it affects my visual art. So, yes, it always comes back
Yep.
to my childhood. It always comes back to being home, and everything that I do creatively stems from there.
Do you find that your fans respond to that? Do they tell you that they actually your music touches them in a way that is nostalgic and does it brings out emotions for them?
And I think that's the one consistent thing between visual art and music. That is what it seems people resonate. They don't know what it is they to put their finger on, but it's a nostalgia. And I feel like, thankfully and fortunately for me, I've been able to transmit that from music to my artwork. But again, it's I'm a very passionate and emotional person, and everything that I do creatively stems from there. And even just the current series of artwork that I'm doing, it's roots my story to tell. And if you read my full bio, it speaks about loving the culture that I am in, loving my black skin, and wanting to honor and celebrate the beauty in blackness. And that's me as a black kid in Dominica. When I fly home and I go to the Carib Reserve where my aunt, my grandmother, some of my family live, I'll stay there and write songs in those little shacks, and that influences a lot of the music that I do. So again, I am touched by being a Dominican. I'm touched by being black. I'm touched by being mixed with Kalinago. My whole nature, my whole being as a grown person, I don't think I'll ever be able to get away from that. Not that I want to. I absolutely love it, but it informs what I do creatively.
And so my next question then is for everyone. You've all talked about how you've been influenced by the different cultures and the different genres of music that we've grown up with, predominantly probably from the US, right? In terms of the Lionel Richies and the Commodores and the Diana Rosses and so forth. How do you balance your Dominican musical identity with global influences? Do you actually strive for a balance, or do you just sort of let the inspiration flow regardless of where the source is coming from? I guess what I'm asking is there a conscious effort on your part to have something Caribbean to it? I'm sure all of you are going to say it's very intuitive, regardless, it's organic. But Lady S, let me start with you. Um, do you strive to make your music more appealing internationally, or for you, it's just what comes out of you comes out of you?
It really depends on the concept and the genre. For instance, if we're looking at Calypso, although you want it to have an international appeal, depending on the concept, you're gonna try to keep it local. It's gonna be judged as a competition, and you also want the people to really relate to it. And even people abroad who are Dominican, you write it in a way that they can identify with what you are singing. You know. So I think it's the concept and the genre, because I remember a few years ago, moving away from calypso, I sang at the GBS Song Contest, Christmas competition. And I remember singing a song, okay, it was about Christ and Christmas, that's who we. And there was a line I put about rain and sunshine. Just like, how the growing seeds need rain and sunshine, But in another culture, they will talk about snow and a white Christmas. But here I am talking about the greenery, sunshine, rain, because that's what we have at Christmas time in Dominica, you know. So other places within the tropics, the tropical zone, will experience Christmas with what I'm saying, will be able to identify. So I do try to create a balance, but it really depends on the genre of music as well as the concept.
Navi, I'm going to throw the question to you.
Well, I wouldn't really say. I don't know. I wouldn't say I have a local mind. Like I when I write whatever I write, I have a broad view. Like, I think globally. I don't think like I could be writing a story of me being in Dominica, which by the way, I just wanted to tap on what Heston was saying. One of the greatest place I've ever gotten inspiration for writing is in Dominica. Like it's just the peace like you could find anywhere. Where they go by the river in a little shack somewhere. That's the greatest, right? But I wouldn't say I write locally. I try to write to appeal to the masses. So I'm thinking if I'm writing Booyah, I'm thinking Trinidad, Dominica, Jamaica, I'm thinking everywhere. If I'm writing hip hop, obviously you're thinking, North America, right? So I'm never really, let's say, thinking locally. I could put local things in there, but my my mind is elsewhere. I'm not in the box kind of a person. I'm outside of the box.
So, Heston, you've pretty much answered the question already, but if there was anything extra that you wanted to sort of add to, whether you're trying to achieve a balance in terms of the influences in your music and what you're creating.
I think the thing I would have to add, and it was mentioned earlier, which is for me, my audience finds me. When I think of creating a song, I have no agenda. And, I'm 5, 6 albums in, and I realize your audience is your audience, and your real audience will find you. And if you stay true to what you do and you stay true long enough, the audience finds you. So I don't have any specific audience in mind. I don't have any focus on being global. The music will go global if you're passionate enough. Because the reality is, just like what was mentioned earlier about the human experience,
Hmm.
most of us go through the same thing. We go through the same experience as people, and if you're fully honest with it, people will latch on and identify.
Sam, did you have anything you'd like to ask?
Very true, Heston. Yeah, this next question here is to you, Lady S. We know you've sung in Creole because you've done Hadas and you've done you at least one calypso in Creole. But are there any other local expressions that you add into your songs, and how does that add to the emotional impact of your music?
Local expressions. Well, the truth is, I don't know so many. That's the truth. I remember in writing cadres for the NCCU competition. That was one of my areas of development. In writing, I learned some of the phrases, some of the proverbs used in Creole. I learned how to even spell some of the words using a Creole dictionary and all of that. So I put it in there. But sometimes when you use the local palace, for some people it goes over the head, but for some people it really resonates with them. So in terms of using many, I can't say that I do. I would really like to though, and I'm hoping that when I delve into writing Bouillon, that I can explore that area more.
Novelist, it sounds like you have a collaboration
Okay.
coming up.
Yeah.
I'm open to
I was just about to
collaboration.
say,
So
yeah.
I'm all open to
Yeah.
collab. So
But so here's this next question here now, and for all of you, I'll start with Heston. What is the toughest part of writing a song, and how do you keep the creative energy flowing?
Good question. For me, the toughest part is it's weird, and I'm sure we all go through the same thing. For me, making sure that the message is clear, and if I don't feel it, then I won't finish it. There's songs that I've started, and maybe it's 30% in, and I won't touch it for a year, 2 years, and then all of a sudden, the inspiration to get the right message, the right energy, the right feel. And when I become a fan of the song is when I'm good with finishing it. So for me, it's always about making sure the message is clear, and that sometimes can be difficult.
Mm, right, right. And Navi, I'll jump to you with this one. For
I get
you,
I gotta agree. I gotta agree with Heston on the feel. And sometimes it's like you could do the song, but like how you want to express it in certain ways, right?
Yes.
So you're working on something and it's hard in your head, and then you're like, nah, put that aside. And one day, like he said, you're just sitting there and like, what is this? Like, oh, this, okay, maybe I should work on this, and that's pretty much how it works. It just I can't really explain how music comes. It's not like a tree you go and say, you know what, I feel like picking soca today, and I'm gonna write, soca or calypso, right? It's just like the wind blows and you just get inspired to just write something or
yeah,
create
yeah,
something. Sometimes it falls through and sometimes it just get left on the shelf.
right. And of course, Lady S, what are your thoughts on the creative energy? How do you stay influenced? How do you stay ready? And especially you are in the calypso arena, so every year you got to think of concepts and songs to take part in that competition. So how do you keep the creative juices going?
Well, I'm very observant, I will tell you, that hardly anything passes me. I can see and hear and feel a lot of things. And because of that, there's always a concept. By the time I was finished on the night of the finals, of Calypso finals, on March 1st, we're going into March 2nd, which I was in the early hours of the morning, I already knew what I want to sing next year, the both songs, what I want to write, what I want to sing. Because you see the gap. You're able to see the gap. You see what the people want. You know what they need. And because of that, then you get inspired. Now, I am not like Heston and Novelist, writing songs, and if it falls through, you put it on a shelf for 2 years. That's not me. I get at it and I get at it because I thoroughly think of it. Trust me, before I write it. But what is a challenge for me is I have so many thoughts on one topic. I have to then decide which angle I'm going to take it and stick there, or if I want to bring in other things, how do I condense it? In a few words, say all what I want to say. And that for me is one of the biggest challenges when I write.
All right, thank you so much, Nicole.
Yeah, so our next question is going to take us into the future of songwriting. So I think you probably guess where I'm going to go with this. AI. Is AI the future of songwriting? Are you scared for the future of music? And anybody can jump in on this one.
Well, um, I honestly don't give it a thought at all. And I think it goes back to the statement I made earlier. I think, when I was in Dominica, I did a play in SMA and convent. And there was a thing called finding your corner of the sky. And that's what I choose to do. I can only affect what I just want to be able to create in my small corner of the sky, and again have my audience find me. Whatever AI does, I am sure it's going to be a humongous part, and I'm sure it's going to benefit the musical and the creative culture in many different ways, like Sam was mentioning earlier. But for me personally, there's no fear. My music comes from within, and that's the only place I care for it to come from.
Thank you, Heston.
Anybody else want to jump in on that?
No, I don't see nothing to be afraid of. To be quite honest, we live in a place where there's millions of songwriters, millions of singers and performers and all that stuff. So this is just it's a human being writing a song and the machine is singing it. You know, the money's still going to a human being.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
there's nothing to be scared about.
Yeah,
As long
I
as you
agree. I mean, yeah.
right, and it's like Heston says, as long as your audience is true to you and you're true to your audience, they will stick with you. I mean, I grew up not knowing who Bob Marley was personally, never seen him in concert. I could still sing his music up till today, and I could play it in a club today, and somebody younger than me is still gonna sing to it. AI is not gonna stop Bob Marley, and he's not even here. So
Yeah,
let's get it AI.
yeah.
Good point.
It's a very good way of putting it, Novi. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. Personally, you know, I have no fear of AI. Because I see it as a tool, and
Yeah.
like every tool, what you choose to do with it, I think that's what makes the difference. It's up to the individual. But we'll move on. That's a topic for a different conversation.
So,
um, so-
yeah, okay. Lady S, did you have any thoughts?
Yes, I think AI is a smart people. Honestly, I think AI is a smart people because really and truly, I've gone on the AI app and say, okay, write me a song about this. And then when it comes up, I look and I said, okay, that could be a hook. That's it. But you could never take anything wholesale from there. Anybody who's bright, who embraces their own level of intelligence and they know what their soul has to offer to the world, they're not going to take AI wholesale. AI is for smart people to take out and put in your own things and whatever. And so there's nothing to fear. There's nothing to fear if you're bright. You just do what you have to do and still bring out there what it is you want to bring out to your audience, as Weston says. So me, I'm not afraid of AI. AI is a tool for me to use so that it helps me to even think deeper, to probably bring out something more simply than all the ideas I have, all the thoughts I have that sometimes poses a challenge to put into one song. How do I merge that and all of that? So it just challenges me to be more creative, more intelligent. That's how I see it.
Fantastic. So,
and yeah,
yeah, what we are doing with this particular show is breaking ground, I believe. And we're discussing um, topics that have been explored by other writers before and other songwriters before. But I think also we want to do things that are unique. And what I would like to do is switch things up and ask you if you have any questions for each other.
I have,
Are there
I
any
have,
questions that you would like to ask each other?
I have a
This
question.
is your time. Go ahead.
I have a question. I know you guys create your own like you write your own songs. Do you guys meditate your songs? And the reason why I say that, like, I don't necessarily write pen on paper all the time. Like, I could meditate a full song. So, do you guys do the same thing?
Ladies first.
Ladies first.
Heston, you're bad. You should have answered first. Um, I don't meditate on a whole song, Novelist. What I do is I can put into my brain a structure of a song and say, okay, this is in the first verse, this is the second verse. First verse, I'll put a bridge here because, it would work better here. And probably have some words, like when you write a plan for an essay and you have like just the main points there for paragraph one, supporting points and so on. Paragraph two, the main idea and supporting points. This
Okay,
I can do in
structure.
my head, but just to say and meditate, maybe if I gave it some time, I probably could do that. But I've never gone and do that. I'm too busy for these things. Only when I'm in the garden, I'll probably just be singing probably a whole song. But
Right.
ask me to remember it after, maybe
Yeah.
not.
So,
I have to
w-
record it. So
it's
no.
like an exercise. You just keep singing it, singing it, singing it, singing it, singing it. Just exercise it.
I might not remember the same melody.
Years ago, I would say that because I was traveling a lot more, I was touring a lot more, and I said, one day I'm going to have a plane in my backyard. And the reason is because the place I find the most inspiration is on a plane, hopefully sitting next to the wing so that it's loud enough that people don't hear me or think that I'm crazy because I find the most inspiration while I'm flying. I literally can get a concept and complete the melody. I will go like this. I'll sing in my ear, facing the window, and quietly enough, and then I will sing it in my phone. And by the time I land, then I will listen to it. And then sometimes it's just gibberish,
Yeah.
but I have the melody, and I may have maybe one verse that's complete or close to completion,
Mhm.
and then I'll finish. But I also love to take my time because I always get in my head and create my perfect scenario. Even if it's not a positive situation, I'll create the whole idea.
Right.
But I want to take my time to make sure that the message is there. Sometimes, like I said earlier, I will think I have a chorus and it really is just the bridge. Or
Mhm.
I think I'll have the first verse, but it's really the second verse. So I may have to pull back and begin the story or write the chorus. So I like taking my time. So no, I wish I could do what you do, but I don't. I really take my time to put the words together to match, and sometimes that can sometimes take weeks.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm lucky enough where it could take maybe a few hours if I really like I'm disciplined, but sometimes it's a couple of months. And when that idea is fully formed, that's when I can just sing the whole thing from beginning to end, and I can like regurgitate it. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I have a question. How do you
Sure, go
stay?
ahead.
How do you stay consistently creative? Because I've found I flow in and out of my creativity. Sometimes I'll pass my guitar and it just collects dust. And then next thing you know, I'll be on the guitar for days on end and you can't pull me off. But I'm never consistent. I'm not. But then I have a busy life too.
Man first this time. um, I would. I'm not even consistent. I don't think anybody is really consistent. I think. I think we're even seasonal as writers, right? Or
Right?
as creators. No, I'll be honest, because it's like sometimes, like you said, I will come in front of the computer and turn it on and just sit there and nothing comes out.
Right.
Or it's like, you start a song and you leave it on the shelf. It's the same thing. It's like, and
Yeah.
then there's weeks on where it's like, okay, as soon as you're done one, it's like, oh, I have another idea, and it's like it just goes like water,
Exactly.
right? So
Yeah.
yeah, I haven't met anyone that's just like consistent, unless you're maybe Pat Aaron for Calypso. Like,
Right.
I
Right.
don't
Right.
know.
Right.
But yeah, I'm not consistent myself.
Okay. Yeah. Because yeah, I feel the inconsistency is, at least for me, where the creativity comes in. It's like I'm not just going to force myself into a song
No,
or
no.
force myself into an arrangement, and then
Right.
all of a sudden one day, boom, something comes through. I can stay disciplined and say, if I'm going to be working on stuff, if I have deadlines, I can produce. If I have deadlines, I can say, let me just, you know, get these things done. Like even today, I'm on the phone with Cornell because Cornell is making my stems for my tour coming up, and there's this one song called Something in the Water that I wanted to get some horns on. And I'm like, Cornell is in the studio this morning in Dominica. I'm here in New Jersey. And I told him, I'm going to send you the file and I will send you a voice note with the horn parts for this song. Give me 10 minutes. And I forced myself to do that because I was under pressure.
Yeah.
So, it's one of those things, but I'm glad you said that because I'm definitely not consistent.
Yeah.
But the lady may have a different message.
Right.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna speak to Pat Aaron first, and then I will say what I want to say. So Heston said that when he has a deadline, he kind of, get the work done for the deadline.
For sure.
So it's like Pat Aaron, you have a calypso season every year, and then it starts as early as December. It finishes in February or March and starts as early as December. So if you want to have material there for the multiple people you're writing for, you have to be consistent. So you're forced to write to meet those deadlines.
Yeah. Under pressure.
Now, one of you spoke about the creative process. Sometimes it's not there, and novelist said he comes in front of his computer, and then sometimes he puts the song on the shelf or nothing comes. Like writer's block when you're writing, even at school, you're writing, you have to write something, writer's block. But for me, I'm wondering if as a writer, the creative process, only entails writing. Because as a writer, you don't necessarily have to be writing all the time. Anything you do too much of, you might get what you call whipping on it. Like when I was younger and they give me too much raisin bun to eat in preschool, I cannot eat raisin bun today. So just think about that. Raisin bun and grapefruit juice, raisin bun and orange juice, raisin bun and Kool-Aid juice. Too much
Right.
raisin bun. So I can't eat more raisin bun. I don't eat raisin bun from the time I hit my teens. That was it for me. I don't eat raisin bun. So if you have to give me raisin bun today, you have to give me a little piece of it. If I'm in the mood to just taste that, I don't eat raisin bun. So for me, the creative process really is ongoing. I think about stuff all the time. Our thoughts we kind of stop. So I think about stuff all the time, but I don't necessarily write all the time or record me singing something all
Yeah.
the time. But it's in my head. Sometimes I get one line, another time another line is added until it might take me, let's say, a whole month or two. I don't have a deadline. And then I put down one song. But the creative process is ongoing. That
Right.
one song didn't just come at 5 minutes to 5 in the afternoon 2 months later. No, it was happening all the time. For instance, next year, I already have my idea for my calypso from March 2nd.
Right.
I already have the idea, but I haven't written anything per se. I made notes in my phone already. I have been thinking about how I want the song structured and all of that. I may never put all that together until the first week in September. But Had the creative process been stalled all this time? No. From March, April, May, June, July, August, 6 months, and they're thinking about how I'm gonna put this together. I want that in there. I think I should twist it like that, and all of that. The process is ongoing. It's thinking for me. It's just like singing is like breathing. It's the same thing. If I don't sing, even if it's to myself, I don't have to perform anywhere. I don't have to sing in church. But if I don't sing, it's like I don't breathe. I don't live.
Mhm.
So if I don't think to write or to create, it's like I have died and I am not dead. So for me, the creative process is ongoing, no stalling. There may be writer's block, but some things they take time. Some things happen like magic one time, but some things take time, and all that is part of the creative process.
I second that
Yeah.
100%.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, that is true.
So, this is what happens when you let creatives run loose. You end up with raisin bun as a metaphor.
Exactly.
Guys, that was amazing to watch. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for letting us
Oh,
get
yeah.
into your heads for this moment and sharing what it is like for you with all of this massive talent. I think for those of us who don't have your particular skill set, we look at you and we think, oh, it must be so easy. They probably drink and
Yeah.
swim songs all day long. And so Sam, I think we're just sort of getting ready to wrap up. Do you have a final question for our fabulous guests?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I do. Um, and it's so amazing how quickly the time has gone by. We're almost at an hour.
Yep.
So,
Crazy.
thank you guys for being wonderful guests so far. Yeah, our final question for this session, and I'd like to, each of you to answer this. But I'll start with you, ladies, and mostly because you are an educator and you teach music. Uh, what's one piece of advice you would give to young songwriters who want to stay true to their roots while reaching a wider audience?
Well, Sam, I'm not sure if that's a trick question, but Sam, you said stay true to their roots. I teach young people, and a lot of them, they're not rooted in the culture of Dominica. So, what are their roots? What are they being exposed to? A lot of them, when I ask them for their favorite song before teaching them about the Jinping band, what they show me is not culture. It's not their roots. So, what do they stay true to? What are they being exposed to at home? Most times, it's not the Dominican culture. I will tell you that. But when they see me on a stage, or they hear I'm gonna be on a stage, they stay up and listen. They watch. They hear their parents cheer me on. So I really think it's what we're feeding them. Right now we have a bouillon that the lyrics are not what we would like our young people to be singing. Some of it, not all of it. We know the ones I'm talking about. And
Hmm.
imagine that when they go writing, they write lyrics like that because that is more appealing. So, what culture are they exposed to? I think we have a big gap in Dominica. There are things that I feel that the authorities could put in place to encourage. And I would even, when I say authorities, I'm not only talking about government, I'm talking about the associations, like Calypso Association, which I'm a part of. That we could go out there and try to make these genres, cultural division, our culture more appealing to everyone, especially the younger ones, in that they'll want to write, they'll want to create, something that is culturally based but still internationally appealing. But it starts with us. And yes, I can influence a few at my school. I can influence a ton who listen to me, but still structures have to be put in place. And I think that's an area that's lacking.
Thank you for that. I think you have a point there in terms of what the youth are influenced by and what they are seeing. How do we bridge the gap? But Heston, I'll go to you. Same question. Um, what do you think you could say to young writers to keep their culture as part of their craft?
So that's somewhat of a tough question because even as a Dominican, I have my gripe with Dominica and the. So let me make sure I say this the right way. We're all human beings and we all are influenced. I can grow up in the same house with two other brothers and they have influence in different areas. Someone might dip into reggae, someone might dip into calypso. I've dipped into soul, I've dipped into reggae. Um, but I'm huge as an individual, as an artist, about the quality of music. And that's what I always want to talk about. That's what I've always looked at. That's what I've always leaned on. Anything that I touch, I want it to be quality. And I just when I watch young musicians working, like she said, you want to make sure that the level of quality is not just kind of like just have a New York state of mind in that you look out. When I see the kind of music that I do, even if I don't necessarily say I want to make this kind of music or that specifically, but I have a New York state of mind, meaning that I'm looking at a big picture. I want to know that that song can reach wherever and whoever and however it gets there, it gets there. But it starts with making music that is quality. That way it can represent you from the day you've made it, from the inception, and can live long past your last days. That is for me, you put your heart, your soul, and a level of quality in it that can last way beyond your years. And I think if you focus on that alone, the reach that our local Dominicans can, it's like from Dominica to the world, that statement, that to me is where it starts from. Quality. Focus on quality, and you can start with that mustard seed and that can spread.
All right, thank you so much, Novi. You get the final word on that
Well,
question.
I'm gonna take bits and pieces from both of you guys. It's like Lady has said, some of the bouillon music that is being produced is what some people consider trash, and there's other aspects of it, right? And it's like Heston said, we could grow up in the same house, same mother, same father, total different inspiration, total different vibes, just two different people, right? Um, One thing I know about anybody who writes music or anybody who creates music, a producer, we are weird people. That's what the world considers us. We're weird, right? So one thing we know is to be true to ourselves because we're not like others. We're weird. Um, there's a difference in there's a difference in entertainers and there's a difference between musicians. You have a lot of entertainers now, and entertainers tend to follow what's trending. So if Lady S is singing Your Boom Boom Big, well, girl, your boom boom bigger because I'm entertaining.
Exactly.
Whereas Heston has no time to talk about being boom boom big Heston is talking about reality and what maybe he went through, he saw somebody go through, or just reality on a whole. And
Right.
that is just being true to yourself. You cannot move from being true to yourself. You are going to find things that make you that feeds your soul. You are going to write music that has longevity, right? You're not gonna dip into the foolishness. Um, Music now has simplified as far as lyrics go. And before you had 3 minutes to tell an entire story. Now you pretty much have 2 minutes to tell that entire story. So you find yourself using quick words just to get to your point, right? So if you're real to yourself, you're gonna find a way to do it like that. Like I said, entertainers, they're just gonna sing whatever Lady S is singing, whatever Heston is singing, and just follow a trend. So anybody who's trying to be real to themselves, just keep on doing what you're doing, listen to real music, and produce real music, write real stuff.
100%.
So, guys, I just
All
want to
right.
thank each of you for being so open, so candid, and this has just been a phenomenal uh, program tonight. I think it's been much more deep than we could have imagined when we asked you to be on. And we just want to really thank you, all of you, for being so open with us. We really appreciate that. And of course, we could just keep going on and on and on. But viewers, I do want to invite you to tune in on Wednesday, September the 17th, and for the Lit Vibes program, which will be part of the actual festival. And on that program, we will be talking to three more out of the box writers. I'll be talking to a video game developer, a pastor, and a calypsonian. So it will be sort of a continuation of our discussion today. So, Lady S, gentlemen, again, I want to thank you for being with us. And I'd like to give each of you a few minutes to promote yourselves and let us know what's coming up for you. What can we look out for in this year to come? Heston, let's start with you. What's you already mentioned that you and Connell are working on your next album, but what's coming out next?
So I'm working on an album called Mimesis. That will be released. I don't know. I think we're gonna have a single called Starry Eyed Boulevard. That should be released sometime at the end of the year. I'm doing a mini tour between Washington, Virginia, North and South Carolina, and Atlanta coming up next month. And I currently am very, very, very proud to have an art exhibit that's currently in Dominica, going from Fort Young Hotel to Secret Bay till the end of the year. And it's going to jump from Dominica to other islands in the Caribbean. So I'm grateful. I'm staying creative. I'm staying active, and I honestly don't know what's next, but it's something creative. But yeah, and all platforms. Heston the artist.
Thank you, Heston. And Lady S, what's new for you?
What is ever new? Really and truly, I consider myself a part-time artist because yes, I'm an educator. I do many other things, but seasonally, the calypso is on in December again, and before that, I will be part of independence celebrations in October and November. I have been doing some work with the True Tool band. I don't know if anybody knows True Tool, but it's a group of percussionists. They play different drums, the shak, the gouache. And it's a group of elderly folks, and they really love their percussionists. So I'm like the Shatwell, and I come and I help them to sing. So for independence, look out for me singing, the Sonia Lloyd songs.
All right, so we'll be looking out for you. And Novelist, what's on the burner for you? What's hot?
Ooh, Auburn is a fool. Auburn is a fool. currently working on a lot of Booyah music. I have a lot of stuff that's complete on the shelf. So they'll be coming out, coming out, coming out. I have a new song out. I think it came out in June. The video for it came out yesterday, which was whatever date yesterday was. Um, a new production team called EMS, and still doing hip hop stuff. Have that sitting on the shelf too. That will come out. So lots of stuff to come out. Of course, Dissect returning in November, somewhere mid November. We haven't set date, but more likely November 15th. And hopefully we could get Heston on there with us, and we could get Lady S on there with us.
Nice.
Yeah, and that's what's happened. Island Therapy still TDN radio every Saturdays from 11 a.m. right back to about 3 p.m. And yeah, just Auburn is a fool.
Good stuff. Sam, give you a moment to wish all of our guests well and to make your exit.
Of all we've said tonight, or has been said by our amazing guests, there's not much more to add except to say thank you to each and every one of you. And of course, Novi, I always have to thank you, for being so consistent and being one of our, one of TDN Radio's greats. You've been with the team for a while, and I can't thank you enough. And by the way, I didn't disclose it earlier, but Lady S is part of the TDN family. She often contributes to the Experience Creole program with Levi. So
Goodbye.
whether that's on air or backstage or behind the scenes,
Yeah.
it's almost a full TDN family on this panel tonight. And so I want to
I
thank
don't
all
know
of
what you
you.
mean by almost, because we're adopting Heston. He's now part of the
Okay.
TDN family.
Hey, family.
It's a full quorum right now.
Exactly.
All right,
So
folks,
thank
and
you guys again, and we are so glad that you agreed to join us on Write-Tukubuli's Literary Festival.
I'm honored. Thank you so much, both Sam and Nicole and everybody else, like Lady S, Novel. Like I appreciate being part of the discussion. Thank you.
so that's it for us, folks. On behalf of Sam George, I'm Nicole Georges Bennett. Thank you so much for joining us. And please check out at Write-Tukubuli on YouTube channel for more great programs and discussions on writing. Take care, God bless, and keep writing.